All right, guys, welcome to Sports Steady Live on Sports Steady TV on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So let's talk about this NBA Player Association, this NBA's and the NBA Players Association's 7-year collective bargaining agreement with uh, all the new stuff they got going on. Now, I went over this thing, and we're gonna leave the link in the description to the full details on ESPN.com. And others have reported on it yesterday, so I'm about 24 hours late. But the reason why I'm late on this is because I wanted to really think about. I'm not mad at all the details. I do have a few issues. Now, I don't play in the NBA, so you probably wonder why the hell am I upset? I'm not really upset. I'm just a bit disappointed because Adam Silver continues to burn the NBA down to the ground. That's what he's doing. And this agreement may look good on the outside to some people, but some of the stuff in this thing is just kind of ridiculous. Like, they continue to try to reinvent the wheel, and some like okay, so the whole contract stuff, the salary cap and the spending, I get why they're doing all that. I don't have an issue with that. Why the hell people want to text me now? It's always when I turn the camera on, my phone starts going off. But all the things like the curbing the ability to spend and all this stuff. Look, I get all that. I don't really care about that. I'm not in the business for that. But what I do have a problem with, two things that are kind of troubling here is the NBA attempting to curb the load management. Now, I've always been a big critic of the load management and why players are sitting out and all this stuff. And I always said that players should probably play at least 70 to 75 games to win any award, including all NBA teams. But the NBA they said guys can play 65 games, which is really no different than what's going on now. I mean, if you look around the NBA at all the guys, look at all the all NBA teams for the last like 4 or 5 years, a lot of these guys have been playing about 65, 66 games. So they really didn't give anything. They didn't give in to that. They didn't hold a firm to curbing load management. Uh, so a player can miss nearly 20 games, right? 17 games, which is damn near a quarter of the season, right? And they'll be eligible for. They can still win MVP. They can still win All NBA. I think that was a mistake. Big mistake by the NBA by sticking to that 65. Now maybe that was part of a negotiation tactic. Maybe they feel like, oh, we give this in, then we get something else in return. So I don't, like I said, I'm not in the room. I just felt like if you made a big deal about load managing, but then you stuck it to 65, why not 70? Uh, I just don't understand that. Look, if guys don't want to play 65, 70 games, yeah, but they shouldn't be winning MVPs. I mean, guys back in the days in the 90s and the 80s, guys played 40, damn near 40 minutes a night, all 82 games, didn't cry, didn't complain, and they played in the most physical era. These guys are playing in the weakest era, the softest, least competition era in league history. Let's just be honest. You guys won't be honest about that, but I will. This league is the softest league. It's probably since the '60s, and we know the merger happened in the mid '70s. So we're saying the softest league in league NBA history, and to drop it down to 65 and say, "Oh, you only can play 65." This is so they can help LeBron out. This is what this is about, folks. This move is about LeBron and all his top dogs because LeBron's probably going to play another year or two, and to keep him in the running for MVPs, possibly, or all NBAs to try to rack up the awards so he can try to claim, oh, I'm better, I'm the GOAT. They need to cap that at 65. Because LeBron next season, you think he's going to play? He'll probably play exactly 65 games next year if he plays that much. Um, And another issue with the load management is a guy, a team could still load manage in this situation because what if a guy says, I'll play 65 games, but then their minutes are low, right? So we got guys that are playing that can play, that can put up good numbers because the league is so bad that guys can still score 20 points, 25 points playing at 30 minutes a night because of the three ball. So if a guy's not playing that many minutes and he hits the 65-minute mark, is he still going to be eligible for all NBA? So I feel like this is going to be easy to manipulate. This is not going to be something that is going to be a big deal for players to get around. Now, like I said, I believe that you should play 70 to 75 games. I say 75 games to be eligible for award. I think they should have broken it down. If they wanted to cap it at 65 for all NBA, fine. But to win MVP, I think they should have been at least 75. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree. If you disagree, let us know in the comments. Second part of this that I disagree with. An in-season tournament? Jesus. Like, why? I know why. Because the NBA saw their ratings are down and they see how the NCAA tournament ratings are up. So they're trying to create this in-season Final Four type setup, neutral site to try to garner some ratings. This is what this is about, right? I get it. And maybe it helps with the TV deal because think about it, if you're the TV contract people, right, and you're coming in the NBA, how much money was you willing to pay under the old way things were? You see the ratings are dropping. They had to come in with something really, really big to convince those networks to cough up the dough. So they're like, look, they sitting in the meeting with the TV executives. They're like, hey, man, your ratings been down a few years. Things are not looking good here. You got players sitting out. Why should we spend all this money? And then Adam Silver and I'm like, well, we're gonna do an in-season tournament, right? Some kind of NCAA deal. You saw the ratings over there, right? They got big ratings. We could do a tournament, like a Final Four neutral site, and they sold it. So the guys, okay, maybe that might work. I think this is a disaster. I think it may look good, it may feel good now. It'll probably work the first year, but to me, this seemed like another bubble situation again, right? It's basically like a bubble, but in another city, and it's not a bubble, but they're trying to recreate something like this. So the end season tournament could arrive as soon as next year, and the event will include a pool play games baked into the regular season schedule. So it's gonna be like a 2-week break, and I don't like why. With 8 teams advancing in a single elimination tournament. See, they trying to recreate like a Final Four. Just why? Why do this? It makes no sense. Just leave it alone. God, NBA, what are you doing? In each in-season tournament game will count towards regular season standards. The two finalists will ultimately play an 83rd game that will not count in the regular season. Winning players and coaches will earn additional prize money. Why? Why? Oh man. So the agreement is that the increase the upper extensions 120 increase, blah blah blah. Okay. So they also agreed to higher contracts. So less games played, more money in the pockets of the players. All this stuff is going on. Look, I don't care about the money and the guys being paid. Let them. That's you can make as much money as you can. My thing is because we like to have arguments about who's the greatest, and we love to compare awards. We love to compare performances and stats and rings and all that. But we're making it easy for these guys to rack up awards and rack up stats. How could we actually have any type of legitimate discussion about who's the best players? Because the league is getting easier and easier every single year. And now more games, more situations are allowing guys to accumulate these crazy stats. I just don't. So what's gonna happen? So if someone wins this tournament, then what are they gonna do? But like, oh, guy won 2 in-season tournaments, and right? I mean, I don't get it. So will the Lakers win the in-season tournament next year? Is that going to be added to LeBron's championship trophy? LeBron's got 5 titles now because he won the in-season tournament, the first player to do it, and Jordan didn't win the in-season tournament. Like, it's just ruining the legacy of the sport. This is just laughable, people. At this point, it's almost like the NBA should just change their name to the National Basketball Entertainment League, the NBE, because it's not the NBA no more. This is not the NBA. I don't recognize this. This is a whole new league, and to try to compare it and look, this is ridiculous, and we got to cut it out, folks. We really do. I'm telling you, NBA fans out there, you got to call out this crap. You really do. You really do. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this is good or not? Do you like this in-season tournament stuff? Do you like the whole 65 game minimum? Should it be higher? Do you like it where it's at? Do you think it should be lower? And another key thing that people were talking about on Twitter was that they won't change the age limit. I'm glad they won't, because the last thing we need is a bunch of uh, high school kids being drafted in the NBA first round. I mean, the league is already watered down as it is. The last thing we need is like 12 first round picks being high school kids who won't see the NBA court. Okay? We forget how many high school guys that got drafted that did not even make the NBA or were even were any good in the NBA. We always talk about the Garnetts, the Kobe's, the Jermaine O'Neals, and those guys, LeBrons, but for every 4 or 5 of those, there were like 20 and 25 of the other ones that stunk. And we don't need that, especially now. We need to cut all that crap out. Let those guys go to the G League for a year or two. Now, maybe if they could go straight to the G League, maybe, and play there for a year, I'd be okay with that. But to jump right to the NBA, no. I don't think the NBA team should be wasting draft picks on that, especially first round picks. Or they could be maybe drafted second round, but they have to still play in the G League for a number of games. Like if they came out with something like that, maybe. But I think it's good. Let the guys stay in school, because NCAA, a lot of competition right now, a lot of teams. Look at the Final Four. I mean, look who made the championship. I mean, this is good for the college that they're not going to lose a bunch of freshmen to the NBA. So that's good. I agree with that. But let us know what you think about that. Let us know in the comments. Twitter.com/SportsSteady, SportsSteady TV, SportsSteady at ProtonMail.com. Do you agree with the new rules of the new CBA deal? If you do, let us know. I'll be back for some more reactions for other stuff. Sports page run by sports fans. Peace.